We experience disagreement persistently and in many different aspects of our life. Diversity of opinion in politics and religion are evident, even within a single party or denomination. But we also disagree in ways that may lead to discord in family life, for example, about parenting styles, how to use money, time, how to distribute tasks, or at work with differences in approaches, in the use of resources. And of course, a new aspect where disagreement can get at times slightly uncivilized and just plain nasty is social media and internet forums. Did Aquinas have anything to say about this? He did not have to deal with social media or media for that matter, but he did have some insights related to the diversity of beliefs. The kind of question that he considered was whether disagreement led necessarily to discord. At first sight, it would appear that if we disagree, sooner or later we will end in strife. Conversely, it will also seem that if we all think the same, then we will be in agreement and there will be concord. Paradoxically, that is what totalitarian regimes have repeatedly attempted, having a uniformity of thought that will lead to an excessive union of the wills, one in which the individual wills are subordinated and dissolved in a common belief. Here, people are subordinated to ideas, and the unification of opinions results in a melding of the individuals. Instead of a communion of wills, which is Aquinas' idea for concord, individuals coalesce and succumb under the power of ideology. In contraposition to this, for Aquinas, we don't need this uniformity to obtain concord. We do not need to agree. Aquinas gives the example of angels disputing about the merits of the sons of Israel. Diversity of beliefs does not impede concord at all, not even friendship. He repeats this in 6 different places. How is this possible? Well, in Aquinas' view, it is healthy and even expected that there will be a diversity of opinions and beliefs. First, we do not have perfect knowledge of things. We get an approximate yet truthful understanding of reality. Secondly, diversity of opinions usually has to do with action, that is, with things that are within our power, which means connecting means with ends. When we have a goal, there are usually a variety of approaches to attain that goal, and at times, some means are going to be more effective than others to achieve this goal. For example, if one intends to go skiing, it would seem a poor choice to show up in the snow with flip-flops and a paddle racket. At other times, it is not so evident which beliefs are best for action. And it may even happen that no matter what means we choose, they all are going to fall short in some ways. Maybe because of unforeseen and unintended consequences. So, in the end, one mean might not be that much better than the other. In any case, because of the limitations of our knowledge and the diversity of means, we need to take seriously the possibility that we may be wrong about some of our beliefs. So given that there is a variety of opinions and that these may lead to disagreement, the question again is, how is it possible to hold dissension and still have concord? Aquinas understood concord as a communion of the wills. But this unity does not mean conflation. The communion has to preserve the individual wills, and the union stems from the individual's knowledge and acceptance of a common good that is shared. Only if there are some shared goals, it is possible a diversity of opinions as to how to direct ourselves towards these common goals. So in other words, we have that Aquinas' suggestion is the following. Concord derives from agreeing in some common goals so that we can disagree with cordiality as to the means to achieve those goals. But someone could object, well, that is precisely the difficulty, that we cannot agree on which the most fundamental goals are. Aquinas himself, in the context of disagreement, does not refer explicitly to any specific content. However, in his philosophical view, good follows being, which means that the highest good will also be the highest reality. And then it is easy to see what the source of agreement and communion, of shared knowledge and acceptance is. For Aquinas, the highest reality, and therefore the greatest good, is the person. Therefore, a communion of persons will be in itself a goal. From this communion, as a byproduct, concord obtains, but the ways to get to this communion may vary and may create disagreement as to how to select the means to achieve this goal. Why does this matter? We already get it. Agree to disagree. Well, that will be an excellent first step, but this common saying does not entail concord, a communion of the wills. Going back to our beginning, for all the everyday contexts where we find ourselves in disagreement, we could ponder about Aquinas' insight. Dissent is healthy. It should be allowed and promoted as a way of respecting the complexity of reality. However, a discrepancy that is ultimately fruitful when it does not lose sight of its purpose, which is to create a greater communion among peoples. In that regard, public discourse has a regulatory principle. Ideas are not over the respect for others, and disagreement is meant to achieve a better, a more complete picture of reality, as well as to explore the richness of possibilities built into it, all directed to a sharing of beliefs and communion of the wills. In sum, Aquinas shows how concord and disagreement are not incompatible. When we read Aquinas, we notice two components in this problematic. One that has to do with how we think about things, with our intellect, and that is the diversity of beliefs part. According to Aquinas, that should not be a problem. The second has to do with our adhering to opinions, agreeing or disagreeing, and that comes with the will. It has to do with actively endorsing something, and that is what brings about the concord or discord part. So we could think of two possible ways where our willing leads to discord. One is that discord ensues if the means to achieve the goals become the ultimate goals themselves. It would seem that we are built up to defend some ultimate goal, some necessary goals with all our might. But when we turn means into ends, then we vest a mean, something that could be otherwise, with all the necessity of an ultimate goal. And then any other beliefs, opinions, or approaches are excluded, discarded. A second source for discord is that it is possible to hold the right belief and yet go around spreading and creating conflict. Why? Because we could be holding a true belief for the wrong reasons. And a way of testing this is to envision the following. If the person who holds a view contrary to mine happened to be right, would I be willing to change my opinion? Would I give up the belief that the earth is flat for the one that I hate, namely the earth is round, if it happened to be the correct answer? And sometimes when we feel very strongly about something, we will probably answer, yeah, sure, I will agree with you. But then we both will be wrong. I don't have to change my mind because I have knowledge, experience, because this is the orthodoxy, because everybody agrees with this. We could offer any number of reasons, and perhaps we will be right. But we will also be missing Aquinas' paradoxical combination of comity and disagreement. The hypothetical that I just presented is just a little thought experiment that seeks to target where our will is at. And that is the source of concord or discord. This is not an exercise in irrationality, in trying to get people to admit some crazy idea for the sake of being more flexible and tolerant. It is just an effort to focus on the adherence part, that is, in our willingness to consider an opinion as an adequate means to a greater good. This is not a call to keep the peace by all means whatsoever, because there can be forms of order, there are forms of abuse, where there is an appearance of peace, but persons are objectified, subordinated to something inferior to persons, like ideology or objects. Therefore, our next inquiry should be the following: to have a cordial social discourse where we can disagree, we need to understand persons, understand why a who differs from being a what. We need to look carefully at personhood.